Hey everyone and welcome. My name is Ross Chevalier. I'd like to introduce you today to the Novell Support Advisor version 2 tool. The Support Advisor is a solution to help you better leverage Novell's support offerings and to manage any incidents that you may have in your Novell environment. We'll get started by signing in. Because the Support Advisor uses a database, we encrypt that database to ensure that connection information is properly protected. So, we're going to access that encrypted database by authenticating. And we're taken to the home screen. We see some buttons across the top of the panel and the ability to launch a new analysis directly from this main screen. We're going to take a look at some of these options as we go through the course of this introductory video. On the right hand side, we can see that we're authenticated, that we can participate in the NSA forums, get some help, and to submit a bug if we find something that needs addressing. So we're going to scroll back to the left side and we're going to choose Analyze. What you'll see is a number of pre-populated connections and the ability to have groups of connections. We can discover connections with Nmap, with ping, or by importing a CSV file. We can display our connections via IP address, DNS indicator, or common name. We'll look at these via IP. You can see that we have both GroupWise and Linux servers showing up in our sample list. When we look at our GroupWise server, we see the port number, our connection method, the server name, the underlying operating system, and how we're going to connect to this particular server. In this case, we're connecting to GroupWise through the GUIA interface, and we can run an analysis on this server live by clicking Analyze. The next box we'll look at is an open SUSE box. We see that we are connecting via SSH over port 22. We see the server name and the authentication criteria therein. Here is a SLES server. We see that we're connecting again via SSH, and our last server that we'll look at is an OES2 server, also running Linux using SUSE. Let's take a look at some archives. When we connect to archives, we can look at historical archives that have been recorded using the Support Advisor. In this example, we see that there are only 2 notices provided in the last analysis, and both of them are good news. We can get more detail on the analysis by clicking on it and clicking Load. This loads up the results of all the pattern testing that we've done against this GroupWise server. 2 successes, no recommendations, no warnings, and no critical errors. We can also look at HTML reports. And all this does is pop open a browser, and we'll just scroll that around a little bit so you can see the results. We see the date, when the report was run, and what the results of that report were. Now we know that nothing much happened in this particular example, so let's go back to the archive and take a look at a different server. We're going to look at our open SUSE server, and we see that there were not just recommendations, but some critical issues. Let's have a look. We select it by the timestamp, and we can look at it first via HTML. So easy to report as an HTML web page or to a console information from the Support Advisor. Note that we discovered automatically that this server is running as a virtual machine. So the Support Advisor can query servers that are running in physical mode or as virtual servers as well. And what we see here is that we have a couple of critical issues, some warnings, recommendation. We could also go back and use the Load tool to open this in the Support Advisor view. So here we see some critical issues that have been identified through the last Support Advisor scan. We've scanned over 300 patterns, and along the bottom we will automatically be set up for the capability to use different services. In this example, there is a miscellaneous field and the Novell recommended solution automatically highlighted. We can also go and select whether it's resolved. So I'm going to choose the subscription option, because this is OpenSUSE, identify whether it's been diagnosed correctly, and if the solution's right, and provide feedback. This helps the Support Advisor team continue to refine the patterns and responses. Here we look at some warnings. These are not mission critical, but there are things that should be checked on this particular server. Notices have been provided in some print or network or SSH.txt files that you can use to refer to in order to solve issues. So for example, here we've clicked on that, and here's the solution drawn directly from support.novell.com on how to address the specific issue that was called out. We also see a recommendation here. This one refers to the challenges around time zone switching. And again, one thing is highlighted, the Novell support forums, and we could go there. We can also look at the successes. Successes tell us about things that are working well. Elements that are already predefined in the patterns that are examined that you don't have to worry about because they're configured and operating according to specification. By clicking on the miscellaneous field, we head out again to the support website that tells us how to do the types of things we might need to do if this were a problem, or to learn more about the pattern element that we've investigated.